And we're singing. We're singing. Dun, 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 dun,
Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch.
Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Beauty and the Bitch. My name is Mick.
I'm Morgan.
And I'm the beauty.
Okay, now this was not what we
this was settled.
had discussed.
We were going to do a simple intro in which we speak only the purest truths. I thought that was what we were doing. Today we are covering Charmed.
Yes, and Charmed is getting a reboot coming soon on the CW, and was a very witchy show that you might remember circa late 90s, early 2000s.
Charmed originally premiered, I think, 98?
1998.
And you, Morgie, you love Charmed.
I was very into it.
You were very into it.
I was into, like, all of the things witchy, so it kind of just seemed like, oh, look, they're doing it on TV, and it's, I don't know, these, like, strong, independent women. And, like, hindsight is also kind of garbage, though, right?
Well, I'll say, so you watched a lot of it in real time, right? Back in the day. I recently binged the first season and, like, some important episodes after the first season.
You did the sampler platter.
I did, a little poo-poo platter. And, it's not poo-poo, as in dung, as in feces. Like, it was a fine show. And I definitely enjoyed the female empowerment. It was very much of that, like, Buffy era, right? I think Buffy came out the year before or something.
Yes, and it was very, like, attuned to that. That was kind of the gist and the audience they were going for.
Yeah. And I think it, you know, it was that. It was about, like, three sisters, family values, the way they, like, you know, take on any opponent, mostly demon men. Who come up against them.
Who isn't, am I right, ladies?
Hello, goodbye. They're all demons. It's amazing how many demon men they done fell for, though. And then find out after the third date, that man's a demon.
Terrible taste in men.
Girl. I have to tell you, though, it hasn't aged super well. I mean, it wasn't, like, offensive. But look, it's three young, privileged white women who own a Victorian house in San Francisco.
Okay.
Which, granted, it's more expensive now, but that shit was expensive back then, too. You didn't have no normal people owning a Victorian house, right?
No,
it was the grandmother's house originally. And I was very kind of, genuinely, at first, I couldn't tell the three sisters apart. You know how I am with people.
Yeah.
And they all... I mean, I know Shannon Doherty, who originally played the eldest sister. Like, I could pick her out because I know her. But the other two, Alyssa Milano and Holly Marie Combs.
Yeah.
Girl, those two looked exactly alike to me. And I got confused. It was difficult.
So Holly Marie Combs played Piper, who I would say is more the level-headed sister. Alyssa Milano played Phoebe, who was kind of the... Later, she became a very problematic character in general.
Well, she's the youngest. She's the wild child.
Yes, and then they did a lot of, like, because she was, like, a star. In later seasons, a lot of people's grief was with, like, it was, like, the opposite of fan service. It was, like, star service. It was, like, Alyssa Milano wants to be a mermaid in this episode and a genie in this episode and, like, whatever. So it was all about, like, her character, but nobody gave a fuck about the storyline.
Funny.
Yeah.
I didn't get to those parts, evidently.
And then Shannon Doherty played Prue, who was very controversially and unceremoniously killed off in season 3 because she was notoriously difficult to work with.
Was her second time she was fired from an Aaron Spelling because she was also fired from 90210.
And not shocking because this show was, like, rife with rumors that she and Alyssa Milano could not get along. They were both like, no, I'm the star. No, I'm the star.
Well, if you ask me, I mean, and maybe this is, maybe people disagree with me, but I think Shannon Doherty was the star.
Oh, damn.
And I love her. I know she's supposed to be difficult, but I think she's a good actress. I think she is shady as fuck, and that comes through in her acting.
He's standing for it.
Yes, I like her. I like her a lot. And when they killed her off very unceremoniously, can I just say, very much so. And then they brought in fucking...
Rose McGowan!
I do not like
Surprise half-sister!
Yeah, exactly. Which... we just watched something else where there was a half sister. Oh, in the remake.
The reboot, yeah, it's the
one
same
of the
thing.
sisters is also a half sister, which is fine and fair and whatever. But I will tell you, in the Shannon Doherty versus Rose McGowan debate, which it shouldn't really even be a debate because they don't have beef amongst themselves. But still, if that is a debate, I choose Shannon Doherty every time.
I respect that.
Yeah.
So while I did watch Charmed, I wasn't like, I didn't watch it religiously and like didn't super keep up with the last couple seasons because that was like the last part of high school for us.
And girl, we were busy. At that point.
We were very
doing a lot of
popular.
shit.
Just
Yeah.
kidding. We were in like debate.
No, we were
like...
very popular. We were always busy.
I mean,
anyway.
we were busy.
Yeah.
With nerd shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, they brought in another sister in the final season, Kaylee Cuoco of Big Bang Theory fame today, I guess. I don't know. And I have zero recollection of that. And when I read it just earlier today. I was like shook. I was like, I must have misread that. They said Kaylee Cuoco was one of the sisters in Charmed. Let me reread. And I was like, no, that's what it says.
So
shocking.
Okay, I watched the very last episode just so I could see how the season ended. I wonder if she was in there.
I don't know. I didn't even look for like a picture of her. Like, did she have blonde hair?
Well, there was some blonde lady in this very last episode.
Maybe that was her.
Kaylee Cuoco? K-O...
Kaylee, K-A-L-E-Y. Cuoco. I typed it as C-U-O-C-O. That might be right.
C-U-O-C-O.
Charmed.
I don't even know her.
I only know her from the Big Bang Theory, but like, that's a show that other people like.
Okay, I think I saw her in this last episode. She's also a witch.
Is there a picture of her? Can I see it?
Nope.
Oh.
There is a picture, but you can't see it.
But I want to know.
She played Billie Jenkins.
Billie
Jenkins.
Let me see.
Okay, I'm pulling up images right now. She's basic white lady. I won't remember her from all the other basic white ladies I've seen in my life.
Yeah, I don't know.
She looks like anybody else.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess she was in the final season, and I was like, what's happening?
But you weren't even into that at that point.
I mean, that's how you know it was going off the deep end when they were like, and featuring Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
As
random.
the new sister.
Random blonde sister. Well, what was it about Charmed that you loved when you were a teen?
So it did, like, it was going for that sort of Buffy vibe, which was a show that I was also into. And it was also, like, a female-empowered show, right? Like, starring 3 women, and they had these adventures, and they were the most powerful witches. And while they were also kind of dumb bitches, and they got themselves into a lot of dumb trouble for being the world's most powerful witches or whatever, it was, like, nice to just watch like powerful women, you know, because there wasn't a ton of shows that focused heavily on that. Additionally, I just like magic in general, and it was that cheesy sci-fi channel kind of magic that I recognize as garbage, but is like the kind of stuff that I just like. Yeah. You know? I just like that kind of stuff.
It was you know, when it comes to fantasy, the way that magic exists in the world is a way that a lot of fantasy fans sort of decide how they feel about a series, right? And the magic in Charmed is very funny because they have this book that's full of spells, but also they have this thing called the power of 3 because they're 3 sisters.
Yes.
And essentially they just like say a spell and it can like banish any demon ever. So that, I mean, it's always different spells, but they're always ridiculous. They're like, and now I say with the power of 3, you're not you and I'm not me. It's like ridiculous.
Stupid. Yeah. It reminds me of Sailor Moon, actually.
It very much. It's the very same feel of like, let's chant a thing, but I get it. Like, especially when this came out, it was hard to do special effects. It was the WB. We're not talking about
the WB, guys.
You know the WB.
They had that racist frog.
They did. That frog was racist?
I just assumed so.
Oh, because he's a frog. That's specious.
Not all frogs.
Yeah, not all frogs.
Okay.
Hashtag.
Okay.
Well, I will tell you, did you have a favorite sister when you were younger?
I don't remember if I had a favorite sister then, but I have one now without having rewatched any of it. I really like Holly Marie Combs, the actress. Sure. She also brought herself back into my realm by playing Arya's mother in Pretty Little Liars.
I had no idea.
So she had a resurgence for me just as an actress. And so when I saw her in Pretty Little Liars, which is a garbage show that I loved, it was just so much nostalgia. I was like, oh my God, it's my bitch from Charmed. So now when I think about Charmed, I think about her because she has the most relevant anchor in my life right now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with her. Also, she's like practical and responsible. So if I'm going to be one of the sisters, honestly, I'm probably her. Am I right? I mean, I'm probably the boring, responsible sister.
Well, they were all responsible in their way, to be honest. Even the flighty youngest one. But yeah, you're probably her. Yeah. I mean, to be honest. So I mean, you could maybe pull a Prue.
Get murdered.
Get murdered. Mm-hmm. Die horribly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was also, Holly Marie Combs was also the starring actress in Picket Fences. One of the starring actresses.
I don't know what that is.
It was, came out 92, ran to 96. And to be honest, I don't know it either. I have no idea what it's about.
It was a show, though.
Yes. Yes. And she was in 83 episodes. So, like, she was, you know, a starring member of that show.
She was in it.
Yeah, she ran that shit, evidently. Yeah, she's one of those actresses that I'm like, I don't even know her. Like, I don't even know her face. She's just very bland looking to me. But I did like her character in Charmed.
That's fair.
No one asked me, but I would definitely be a Prue, obviously. Because
difficult to work with.
Stunningly beautiful.
Wait, you think Shannon Doherty is stunningly beautiful?
I think she's beautiful. Yeah. You don't think she's beautiful?
No.
I think, I mean, as she's aged, she's gotten more and more that LA face.
She reminds me of Tara Reid.
They look alike. I could see that. I could definitely see that. She's only 47. She's not old, but she looks older now because she's had so much work done, which is really a shame. It really is a shame. I thought she was beautiful in Charmed, and I love her in Heathers. You know, she's in Heathers.
Well, yes.
I was never a fan of 90210, so I don't really...
I didn't watch that, so I don't have an opinion on it. But you're so true about Heathers. What a fucking classic. I really like that movie.
And she's so good in that.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken when she died. Heartbroken. I thought she was the heart of the show. And I knew she was going to die.
Well, girl, it only went downhill from there, so maybe you were right.
So you were telling me before we even started the episode that Charmed was canceled? So I thought it just ended.
Here's the drama. It was de facto canceled.
Okay.
Because, as you mentioned, it was on the WB. And you might remember a little network called UPN, where you might watch Hang with Mr. Cooper. Or Living Single.
Or in the later years, Buffy, which moved from the CW to UPN. Yeah.
And UPN and the WB merged into one network.
The fuck you say?
Circa, what year was this? 2006, 2007?
I didn't even know.
They merged into one network. That's why you can't watch either of those networks anymore. Because now they are the CW.
WPN? Oh.
UPN and the WB are now the CW. And so they merged, and as a new corporate entity, became one channel, and they had to take shows from both stations and say, this is what we're building our lineup off of. And girl, they didn't pick Charmed as one of those shows, so it was de facto canceled.
Well, I don't know how I never realized these two channels we spent our childhood with merged. I literally had no idea.
Yeah.
It went from the WB to the CW.
I knew the WB became the CW, but I didn't know it merged.
I didn't know UPN was UPN. Like folded into it. Well, I will tell you now, that's too bad that they didn't pick it up because, you know, when Charmed premiered, its very first show, set viewing records.
Oh, it had a really good pilot title.
It was
Something Wicca This Way Comes, which is good and witty.
It had like almost 8 million viewers. It was the most anyone had ever watched at that time on the CW. So,
well, and that's great. And like, I get it. And right now the CW has this kind of cadence with some kind of gritty drama type shows that it's sort of cycled through. And then on the other hand, it has all the Marvel stuff, right?
It's like it's
very, very superhero heavy, and then on the other hand, it went through the Vampire Diaries and the originals and Jane the Virgin and whatever, some other thing I was Riverdale.
Riverdale.
Riverdale, that's a gritty CW thing. And now they're cycling in Charmed, which seems like a very good fit on the heels of some of those other shows wrapping up. So it's really Rain. That's another one they had. It's a very natural fit for them now, but they're getting a lot of backlash from previous Charmed fans and also people, because they're doing, first of all, they're doing a whole new storyline. It's not just a reboot, it's like a prequel. So there's that aspect of like abandoning all of the previous like fanfare. And then secondarily, there was a tweet that went viral that actually our girl, what was her name, Holly Marie Combs did, where she basically said it's garbage that you're doing this new Charmed show and it's nothing without the original cast and also the original storyline and writers. And it went like super viral and people are like, yeah, Holly Marie Combs, fuck this new Charmed show. But that being said, millennials don't give a fuck about a show that existed and ended in 2006. Yes.
Well, and more so, look, in the 90s and the early 2000s, I guess it was one thing to see a show about rich white ladies where pretty much everyone is white all the time and straight. And it was fine. Like, that's what it was. I'm not judging it because we've got different standards that we look at these days. But the reboot, or the remake, I guess. Yeah, I did that whole thing where I defined all these things, but that was months ago. I can't remember the difference between reboot and remake. But the new Charmed.
A reboot is where it's like the same storyline, same character types.
Okay, so it's not a reboot. It's a remake.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess.
This remake stars the Vera sisters. They are all Latina. And the middle one is going to be a lesbian. And instead of doing like Salem magic, they're doing brujeria, which is like Hispanic magic, like Latinx magic, essentially. It's magic. It just means witchcraft in Spanish. So they're all brujas. But anyway, I'm very excited for that because rewatching it, that was a big problem for me. I was like, kind of bored by it. There was a man of color. There was a detective who worked with them a lot, who you may remember. He was kind of fine, actually, though you're probably too young for it at the time. He's black, I think, or I think he's black or Hispanic. He's a brown man anyway. But he was the only brown person in that whole show that I ever saw. Yeah. So I do think, I mean, I like this. And also, we've seen a lot of Salem witches, you know, and that's cool. I like that. But like, I'm ready for some other kind of witchcraft. Show me some other traditions.
It.
You know?
There was a YA novel last year, or maybe it was this year, that was really popular called Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. And it was a YA fantasy novel incorporating magic, but magic as known in folklore of like Africa. And it was a very Afro-led novel and story, and it takes place in Africa and uses all this like tribal magic. And I haven't got a chance to read it, but I am on the wait list at the library.
Yeah, it's got that wait list.
In 12 weeks, that's my book, baby. But I think that stuff like that does so well because it's written well, but also because it's so refreshing to take something we already know and we love, but to infuse it with like all this great culture that we're missing out on.
And look, we're both white people. I don't have problems with white people in starring roles.
Girl, they're everywhere.
Exactly. You know, I just, every once in a while, let's throw in a brown family queen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I disagree with Holly Marie Combs for what it's worth. I mean, she's much more an expert.
You tell that bitch.
But I think it's time for new stories.
She's probably just mad because nobody invited her. And Pretty Little Liars is over. She can come and do a cameo
if she wants. She can be a flower lady. You're my favorite customer, Johnny. She can say that. I mean,
oh, hi, Mark.
Damn. Oh, hi, Mark.
Maybe. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's refreshing and interesting, and I think it'll do well on the CW. We watched the trailer earlier, and
it looks good to me.
It looks like the kind of show that I would watch. I'm more of a wait till the first season comes on Netflix kind of girl, so I won't probably help their ratings.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for the first season to come to Netflix. You know what I mean?
And I think it has a chance of staying around for a while. I mean, I really do.
I think so.
Based on what I saw.
Girl, if the original stuck around for like 6 seasons, ain't no way this is gonna fail.
And more than that, was able to overcome losing one of its main stars.
Vampire Diaries, yeah.
What?
The Originals is a fucking spin.
I thought you said the original. Oh, I thought you meant Charmed the original. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
Yes, the original Charmed lost a cast member.
You know what?
What?
Since you brought up the originals, would you like to play a quick Marry, Fuck, Kill?
Oh, I would. Thank you.
Okay, so, Marry, I could have come up with something smarter for this, but I didn't. Marry, Fuck, Kill. True Blood, Charmed, Vampire Diaries. Go.
Okay, this is easy for me because I have never seen True Blood and haven't gotten into it.
You're missing out.
So when I was in college, I saw like the first 3 episodes. I rented the DVD, and it wasn't compelling enough to rent the second DVD, so I never.
Well, that's telling.
But it's like on HBO, right?
Come on, Sookie Stackhouse, yeah.
Yeah, so I could stream it. Maybe I'll get into that, but for now I'm not into it, so it's dead.
Kill it. Okay.
It's dead. R.I.P.
Okay.
And then I have the Vampire Diaries and Charmed. So, oh god. Well, I'm gonna have to fuck Charmed because there's nobody for me to spend my long vampire life with because I'm getting married to the Vampire Diaries. Okay. Because have you met or seen Damon Salvatore, who is a real person but is only Damon Salvatore to me?
You know what? I've only
Where's
met
Sarah
him
at?
twice.
She knows what I'm talking about.
I've only met him twice, and both times it was like a shadowy alley, and it was mostly about his dick.
I don't care, girl. That's the same for me.
I mean, you know, potato.
Yeah, so I stand by that.
One head or the other. Okay, that makes sense for you. Okay, Marry, Vampire Diaries. I'm not shocked. I am going to take it up a notch here, though.
Okay.
Really, what I'm trying to do here is find how you really feel about Charmed, because the next Marry, Fuck, Kill is Buffy. Charmed. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Wait, the Melissa Joan Hart edition?
Yes, the original. We'll be doing an episode about the remake soon, but we're not there yet.
Okay, well, then you might be shocked. Or maybe you won't be shocked. Charmed is going to be the bottom of the list for me on these things. I feel you on that. I don't judge you on that. So I'm going to kill Charmed. Okay. And I'm going to...
You just killed Alyssa Milano. I can't believe this.
I'm going to fuck Buffy. Because I love Buffy, but at the same time, it's really dramatic.
It is a lot.
And I don't need that lifelong drama.
Sure, no.
So I'm going to marry Sabrina the Teenage Witch because it's whimsical and bonus marriage. I get a cat named Salem that talks at me.
That's the real reason.
Girl,
he's the best part of that whole show.
He's pretty good.
He's the best part. I fucking love that cat. Oh my god. Salem?
Yeah.
His name's Salem?
Salem.
Oh my goodness. Well, they weren't very creative with that name, but I guess it's better than Blackie or something. So I mean,
Bagheera.
Right? A Bagheera. Okay. Marry, Fuck, Kill. Xena, Charmed, Supernatural.
That's some trash.
I know. Say I pulled in a strong woman.
Okay.
A little bit of myth. I pulled in some hot men because I know you have a weakness.
Girl, I do. I like Xena, but I never...
Morgan, don't tell me this.
Don't
tell me. You better not finish that sentence. No, I didn't hear it.
Okay. But I'm intrigued by the thought of fucking Xena Warrior Princess.
And Gabrielle. She'll be there too. Gabriella.
And that guy who plays Hercules, he got his own show.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was first, actually.
Well,
yeah. Xena, do you know Xena's a spinoff of Hercules?
First. No, I didn't, and that doesn't make any sense. Lucy
She was
Lawless.
a villain on Hercules, yeah.
She was also a villain on Battlestar Galactica.
She was so good. Number 7? 6?
Not 6. 6 was the blonde one, but one of them.
That's true.
Oh, spoilers. She was a silent.
Well, you don't meet her till you meet her. So.
Also, when Lucy Lawless enters, you just know she's a bad guy.
Yeah, she's not going to be like background engineer number 7.
Okay, so I'm going to kill Charmed again. And I'm going to fuck Xena Warrior Princess.
Good choice. That'd be some good pussy right there.
Yeah.
That's my queen.
Yeah. Ooh. And then I think I'm going to marry... I already forgot the other option.
Supernatural.
Oh, yeah. I needs to be with Jared Padalecki. I needs to be with Jensen Ackles. I needs to be with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I needs to be just up in the Supernatural cast. Up in there.
Oh, you want to be face in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cunnilingus.
It's okay. Aaron doesn't listen to this show very much anymore.
Well, that's fine. Rude. If we can count on your husband to listen, who can we count on?
He's all like, I'm busy. I'm like, okay.
What's he doing?
That's great. Cause talk about fucking everybody.
X-Wing? I don't want to hear it, Aaron.
He is there tonight. That's what he's doing.
We'll see. Aaron. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, this is the last one.
Oh my god. Okay.
I have a 4-part one, but this
Wait,
one...
but who would you fuck or marry?
Okay, in all of these cases, I would kill Charmed.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of the show. Now, this is the original. Maybe the remake I'd be more into.
We'll see.
If it's True Blood versus Vampire Diaries, I don't like
either
I don't
of
like.
them.
Well, I like True Blood. Okay,
Oh,
I would
do.
fuck True Blood because there's a really hot guy in there who I would like to have sex
Is
with.
it like her real life husband person?
No, no, it's her brother in the show. He's some blonde god. I don't
Oh,
know
isn't
what.
it the Skarsgård?
No, it's not Alexander Skarsgård.
But he's in that show.
He's hot. Yeah.
And he's hot.
Yeah, he is hot.
He is hot.
And then, so I don't know, Vampire Diaries or Charmed, I'd kill them both and just fucking marry True Blood.
Okay.
Buffy and Sabrina, I would definitely marry Sabrina because one, the cat, two, the aunts. I love her aunts.
Fabulous.
Sabrina herself, I can take,
She's fine.
give or take,
Yeah.
but, and then I would fuck Buffy because she'd be good in bed, especially in later seasons, you know? And there are a lot of sexy people up in that show.
Yeah, plus, like, I hate Angel, but I wouldn't say no to, like, a one-night stand.
I mean, I would hit it. You know, he's a little buff for me.
Ugh.
His face-wise, he doesn't really do it for me.
I really don't
but,
like Angel.
No, he's not very attractive to me. But hey, no judgment. And then Supernatural, I would fuck because I'd have sex with those brothers. And then I would definitely marry Xena because then I could live in ancient Greece. And you know that's my jams. Yes, my queen. I'll be Hermes or somebody. Now, the last one, though, I have very definite opinions. I'm going to let you change it if you want. Okay, I wrote down marry, fuck, kill, Prue, Phoebe, Piper. But if you want, you can change it to whatever the fuck is Rose McGowan. You can do Paige, Phoebe, Piper if you prefer.
No, we'll do
But
the
I
originals.
much prefer. Yes, let's do Prue.
Okay.
Yes.
So, marry, fuck, kill.
Alyssa Milano, Shan Doherty, or Holly Marie Combs. Essentially is what I'm asking. I mean, you can pull in the characters if you want. But...
Look, it's not shocking because I already said that Shannon Doherty's so dramatic.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just have to kill her
I can't believe
because
you're
it's
doing
too
this.
much drama
I can't believe
for
you're doing
me.
this. I can't believe you're doing this.
Um,
You're exactly why she left the show. People like you.
Alyssa Milano's like too pretty to marry and be with forever
Should
because
make you feel bad about
I don't
yourself.
need that kind of competition.
understand that
So I'll
life.
just fuck her and then I'll marry Holly Marie Combs and we'll be boring and we'll get a 401k.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like a good life. Yeah, good life in the suburbs with Holly Marie Combs.
Yeah.
You know what? I would both marry and fuck Prue, and then she'd
You
eventually.
keep just breaking all the rules.
But here's the thing: she would eventually.
What if I was like, "I'll actually just fuck Harry Potter"? He's not even.
He's not even an option. I'm just saying, I would marry and fuck Prue, and then she would kill me because she's hateful.
She is though.
So I'm being.
She's like, "There's
creative
only room
with
for
this
one
show.
diva."
Yeah. If I had to, I would definitely kill Holly Marie Combs. I think she's very forgettable, no tea, no shade. And I guess I'd fuck Alyssa Milano, but I'm not excited about it. Well, how did she become a big star? Like, what is her star power? I mean,
Weirdly, I thought she was on 90210, but she was on one of those like teeny things.
She was on Melrose Place.
Yeah, that's a different one.
And also, Who's the Boss?
Okay, well, yeah.
And do you know she's on Insatiable right now?
Well,
she's pretty good in that.
People hate that show.
I think they're silly to hate that show.
Really? You think it's fine?
I think it's fine.
The internet ravaged it.
Well, but you know what? A lot of that ravaging happened before they fucking saw the show.
Fair enough.
They saw
I have not seen
I
it.
know this for a fact because I remember when it happened, the show wasn't out yet. And I was like, what's this new show that's fat phobic? And I went on and looked and I was like, ooh, that does look fat phobic. And then I watched a couple of episodes and it's not that's not the point. I mean, the main point of that show is that you are the same person whether you're fat and ignored or beautiful and in a beauty pageant. And if you're rotten in one, you're going to be rotten in the other body, no matter what your like lifestyle is. And so the reason a lot of people hated it is because they felt like it was fat phobic. That's the whole point of the show though, is she loses the weight or she goes through like a makeover moment, essentially. She doesn't really lose weight. And she becomes like a beauty queen, whatever. And then her life changes, but she's not actually happier. Her life is way worse. And the whole point is that doesn't change your life or make everything okay. Just because you're suddenly a beauty queen, no longer a loser. I know people are being too much about that. Is that what you heard? Is the fat phobia? Is that the problem?
Generally, I didn't hear specifics. I just heard people being like, the show is garbage.
No, fuck those people. Cancel culture. They want cancel shit left, right, up, and down before they even really get into it.
That's so true.
Maybe they saw it and hated it, in which case we could have a conversation. But I watched the first season, and I thought it was different. I thought it was funny. I don't really want to watch season 2. I'll tell you that. But no. Donald Trump is on your TV, too. Why don't you focus on something that fucking matters?
Cancel that shit.
Yeah. While you're trying to cancel people. Fucking cancel power. Doesn't even fucking work anyway.
But how do you really feel?
That's how I feel.
All right. But Alyssa Milano's up in there?
But yeah, Alyssa Milano. Yeah. She's in Insatiable. And she plays like a sexy MILF who's obsessed with the way other people think about her. It's a funny role. I mean, she's good in it.
I never saw Melrose Place because I didn't watch those things.
We were slightly too young for both Melrose Place and Now 2.
The OC was like the first soap opera type thing I ever watched.
That was the Melrose Place or Now 2
of our time. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought about going back when the new Now 2 one came on, 90210.
Oh my god, there's a new one?
Mm-hmm. They did like a reboot of it, I think, unless I'm confused.
No, you're probably right.
And I tried to go back. I was like, well, why didn't I try to binge Now 210? Like, why not, right? No, queen. I watched like an episode and a half, and I was like, fuck this dated shit. I wouldn't have liked it when I was that age. I certainly don't like it now.
Girl, and you don't have to try.
But speaking of things I don't like, you do love Jane the Virgin.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. And the,
it's from the same creators, right?
Same creator, yeah. Ginny Snyder Ehrman, who is maybe a creator / producer of Jane the Virgin.
I love Jane the Virgin. They're about to start, they're like filming their final season, and I guess it'll come back next year. A lot of people have like not nice things to say about Jane the Virgin or questions about like it's a very like political show, but like because it's a satire on a telenovela, it's like a telenovela within a telenovela, and like there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people have like not nice things to say about some aspects of the show, but cultural appropriation and like other stuff. But all that being said, I really enjoy it, and I think it's one of my favorite shows that I've seen in like definitely the last decade. Like it'd be if somebody was like, name all your top favorite shows, which is like my nightmare. I don't have favorite anything, but Jane the Virgin would have to be on the top part of that list.
But real fast, name all your favorite shows.
Monkeys and Giraffes.
Oh, I haven't seen either of those.
I have
they
to
sound
go.
Basic. Wait, what is this appropriation? Is that something you're going to say about this new Charmed? Is it because the creators are white? No. Because first of all, people call it like the white people telenovela because it's like it's this like satire on telenovelas, but most of it's in English. Some of it's in Spanish. They have some characters. A lot of the characters speak Spanish. Abuela is the grandmother character, and she like 98% only speaks Spanish, but her granddaughter Jane speaks back to her almost exclusively in English. And so I've heard people say that that's a really disrespectful thing that wouldn't happen in like a Spanish speaking home, that like she would speak back to her grandmother in Spanish if she knows Spanish.
But I don't know. I'm not here to weigh in on that as like a thing because I don't know the validity of that, and every family is different.
Well, I surely know plenty of people of our generation and our basic age range who don't speak the same language that their grandparents speak.
Sure.
I think that's I've seen that with Korean families and Chinese families and Hispanic families. Whatever.
And that's another thing. Jane has a baby Mateo, and he speaks English, and like at no point did they say Mateo doesn't know how to speak Spanish, but Mateo does not speak Spanish on the show. And so there are a lot of people who say not only does she not speak Spanish back to her grandmother, but she didn't even teach her son Spanish. So there are things like that people say negatively about it, and then also the telenovela cultural appropriation. But all that being said, I really enjoy it, and I feel like it hits a lot of political marks that are really important, especially for the Latina community, and it's a very like woman empowered show, and also everyone on that show is like fucking gorgeous because of course they are, and I just like to look at that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's my blurb.
Interesting. Well, I wonder if people are going to say a bunch of shady shit about about the Vera sisters.
It's definitely possible.
Well, look, fair enough. I mean, whatever. I'm pretty happy generally when a bunch of straight people decide to tell a gay story, but I'm sure there are lots of gay people. I mean, look, when the director of Boys Don't Cry went to my school, Reed College, the fucking extremists at the college, the students, booed her off the stage because she cast a woman in the main role as a trans man. And I think that's fucking bullshit. So maybe I'm just old and behind the times, but I'm kind of like, look, at least they told your story, honey baby. I mean, I'm talking about Boys Don't Cry now. I'm not necessarily talking about anything else. But, you know, I'm a bit less extreme than many people. So I used to think I was so extreme. No longer. Mm-mm. No, I've met some extremists. I'm extremely moderate. All I really care about is let people be free. Beyond that, I don't really care. Just let them be free. Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to preach there, really. It's even a negative sermon. I'm not going to give you a sermon. Just don't tell other people what to do.
My sermon is, no, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. And if people are hateful, then don't talk to those people. Shit.
Girl. Well, I think either way there will be some sort of backlash on Charm because people love to hate.
They sure
and they're going to find a thing to hate.
Well, here's some of the most hateful.
But I am interested to see generally how it's received with like their targeted fan base, right? Like the people who already love the CW, who love that kind of like stuff, content that they're putting out there. That's their audience. And frankly, I think they're going to do well with those people if it's good. Mm-hmm. Like if it's garbage, it's probably not going to last a season or more. But if it's good.
And that's the thing. The three new sisters, Sarah Jeffrey, Melanie Diaz, and Madeline Mantock. All three of those women. Now, some of them have had, they've all had careers already, but they're all relatively
fresh
new.
Names,
yeah, they're all relatively new. Madeline Mantock was on The Tomorrow People, which is on the CW. I didn't watch that.
I don't know that one.
She was in Into the Badlands on AMC.
I do know that one.
I didn't watch that either.
So that's interesting. They do love to circle their actors around, and I was reading about some of their extended cast, like the villain and like some other people. So there's going to be some familiar CW faces mixed into the extended cast. So that'll be good for fans as well, people who just love the CW.
Oh, sure.
Which honestly, like, I'm a CW person. Like, they put out so much crap. Like, most of the stuff I consume is probably from the CW, or it's like an HBO original thing.
And there's a lot of junk, but there's a lot of good, too, you know? Well, my point is, those three actresses need to be on point. Because it is one good thing about...
It's very important.
Even though I'm not a huge Alyssa Milano fan, and I'm certainly not a Rose McGowan fan, they're both great actresses. And Holly Marie Combs, too. And, of course, Shannon Doherty is a great actress.
And, like, the chemistry is really important.
Yes, it is. So, it's really gonna be... It's a make or break situation with these actresses because I think the idea is already tried and true and it will at least be average, but it's really about their chemistry and how they glow on screen.
Man, and we're in a mad reboot season. Like, there's just so many things, or a remake. There's so many things getting new life right now. Sabrina's on the horizon, and that's a big one people are talking about, and it's a Netflix original, so it has a lot more leeway than like a Charmed reboot on the CW. So I just feel like you're right, everything has to be on point. There's a lot of competition. Television's a really scary and difficult game to be good in right now because there's so much good to compete with. We just watched the Emmys a couple weeks ago, and with Veep being absent, 2 new comedies swept all the comedy categories. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, who got some nods at the Golden Globes, and Barry, the Bill Hader HBO original. Yeah, basically those 2 shows swept all the comedy categories.
Fascinating.
And it's like both of those are very like original things happening, but the majority of things that were being like immersed in are like all these remakes and stuff, and it's just like a lot to keep up with.
Well, I have high hopes I have high hopes for this new Charmed. I think it's going to be better than the original. That's my hope.
I could believe that.
But, I mean, we'll see. It could crash and burn. It could definitely crash and burn.
Ooh, and if it does, we will talk more about it.
Before we finish up, Morgie, ask me why I don't like Rose McGowan.
Why don't you like Rose McGowan?
Oh, are you sure I should talk about it? Press me a little bit.
Yeah, I really want to know.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Oh, all right.
So I didn't have a problem with Rose McGowan.
Okay, hard to believe. But
Y'all can't see, but I'm getting real sassy right now. Here's what Rose McGowan did first that pissed me off.
Tell me.
She went on the RuPaul and Michelle Visage podcast, What's the Tea, which is one of my favorite podcasts. Mm-hmm. And she acted a damn fool.
Well, she did do.
Well, now look, RuPaul does like to preach, and I know RuPaul is sometimes irritating in her preachiness, right? Michelle too, Lord have mercy. But Rose McGowan would not listen to any of their wisdom. She essentially shut herself down. Ru kept telling her, because she's so... Here's my problem with Rose McGowan at the heart. She's so extreme. She is an extreme person at this point in time. And she's very angry. And I understand anger. I really do. I genuinely do understand anger. But the problem is, though Rose McGowan has done a lot of good for the...
Me Too.
For the burgeoning, well, I guess not burgeoning anymore, but the well-developed Me Too movement, she's let that anger that really helped to light the fire of that movement sort of come to define her personality. Mm-hmm. She's very sharp these days. I have seen her tell off a trans woman in one of her readings in a way that I wouldn't call it homophobic, but it was very dismissive of trans women in general. You can YouTube that if you're interested in seeing it. Rose McGowan shows her ass, as she normally does. And yes, this trans woman did interrupt her book signing with a protest. But let me ask you a question. Why was that woman Okay. Because Rose McGowan is essentially a TERF, which is a feminist who doesn't include people outside the gender binary within her feminism. And there's a lot of other people she excludes as well. Now, that was the first she went on, acted a fool with RuPaul and Michelle, who are people I love, even though I don't know them. Second, she was very rude to that trans woman who interrupted her book signing with a protest. Fair enough. Third, did you hear about this little story where a man she knows, somehow she's close to, was accused of being... an assaulter, you know? Essentially, he was gotten by the Me Too movement, and she defended him. Oh. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Yeah. Why don't you Google that? Because Rose McGowan, like so many people, she is a hypocrite. She's willing to attack people who have hurt her or people she doesn't know, but when it's a man who she cares about, she wants to defend him, which is my only real problem with the Me Too movement. Every time I talk to someone, I always think, well, what if it was your dad? What if it was your brother? Because so much of this movement is about then dehumanizing the men who have done these monstrous things, which I understand. But see, that's not, eye for an eye doesn't work like that. When a man has treated you in an evil way, you can't turn around and say you're no longer human. You still have to see them as people, which is the hardest thing on earth. Because then you have to take into your own heart that normal, everyday people are capable of atrocity. And then you have to look in the mirror and say, I am capable of atrocity. And people would rather play the victim role or be vengeful rather than take on that true human law, I guess. The law of people.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I have a very real reason for not liking her. Now, this was way after Charmed, but it's still, when I watched it, I was like, oh, this fucking Rose McGowan, you're going to shave your head and get mean in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah, she sure did.
I understand why, though. I mean, if Harvey Weinstein puts his meaty paw on you, I think that's enough to rot most people. That's disgusting.
I hope he goes to prison.
Me too! He has to go to prison. Him and also... the man we shall never remember. He
who must not be House of Cards.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I hope they both go to prison.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
For a good long time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like forever would be like a good amount.
I'm totally fine with that.
Forever.
I'm totally fine with that because they are legit, just like Cosby, they are legit lifelong predators just about. And I don't have no time for that.
Girl, no.
Girl, life's hard enough. Shit.
We also don't have no time to talk more on this podcast about
It's time
things.
to be done?
Yes, girl.
Let me tell you another thing I'll like. No.
Pick out another person who you hate.
No.
Tell me
it's
about
fine.
Bill Cosby.
I'm sure Rose McGowan has many fine qualities, but
Well, I mean, you could say that about most people, but I respect all the reasons that you do not like Rose McGowan, and I did not know about some of those dumb things that she had done, so thank you for enlightening me.
you're welcome.
I was neutral about Rose McGowan,
Mhm.
and I still just feel kind of neutral about her. Like, I have no reason to love her. I have secondhand reasons to not like her. She's just a person I'm going to forget about as soon as we're done talking about this.
And me too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, me too. Hashtag me too. I don't give a shit about
Yeah.
her really. But if you want to look up What's the Tea, just look up Rose McGowan, What's the Tea. That episode will come up and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get her to laugh because it's a fucking podcast and she is so
Too serious.
unpleasant.
Yeah.
It's not even just too serious. She's just unpleasant in the way that teenagers are sometimes unpleasant, right? That kind of blindered, like, I will not listen to you, I will see nothing but this, life sucks and it's gonna suck and there's no way for it not to suck and we should just, it's ugh. I just want to get rid of her. I'm
To
done
be
with her.
14 again.
Yeah. Or to be a very privileged white actress.
Girl.
Evidently it's the same thing.
Yeah, that checks out.
That was my sassy face.
All right, well, if you are online checking out that episode of What's the Tea, you might as well go ahead and like our podcast
Yeah.
and share it with your people.
Yeah. Especially if it's Rose McGowan. Let her know
Rose
what I think.
McGowan, we said some not nice things about you,
Yeah.
but if you could like our podcast and review us, that'd be great.
She doesn't have a problem writing off queer people, so I don't think she'll be too upset about it.
Oh, shades,
Yeah.
shades. Also, while you're liking our podcast, you might as well follow us on all the social medias.
I mean, they could.
Girl.
It's not hard.
We're on Instagram. We're on the Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
We're on that YouTube.
I have all these burps. I shouldn't have had all the LaCroix.
You're so gassy.
I like the pamplemousse flavor.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
We're not sponsored by LaCroix, but if you want to sponsor us,
Is that just French for grapefruit?
yes.
Oh, you're so fancy.
Yep. So follow us everywhere. We're also on YouTube, where we have some good shit.
Yeah, we got all kinds of good shit. We got every single episode of the podcast.
Oh, except for only that one.
Well, that one, yeah. The
Yeah,
Rose
yeah,
McGowan of episodes we got rid of. But, or whichever episode it was. And then we also have, it's all finished up now, but Let's Queer Witcher 3. If you'd like to spend about 40 hours with me. There are 40 episodes out, I think.
Yes.
So, sit down, plunk down somewhere, and watch me play that fantasy game.
Word. Did you have a real thing to plug?
Very briefly,
Yeah.
I've actually plugged it before.
Great.
But if you enjoy that charmed life and that kind of feel, A Discovery of Witches is a novel, the first of a series.
Deborah Harkness.
Deborah Harkness.
It's been,
yes.
oh my god, it's been on my TBR list forever. You're into it?
It was good. I didn't continue the series. It's a little bit too much romance, not enough fantasy for me.
I'm listening.
Yes, exactly. It's right up your alley. For someone who enjoys the kind of like soap opera with magic that is Charmed, I think A Discovery of Witches
Ooh.
and the Harkness series is
forgot
right up
about
your alley.
that one.
Yes.
Ooh,
I
I do
really
wanna
think
read
you would
that.
like it a
Okay.
lot, Morgie. Yes. Sexy vampires, all that. It's there. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I love having new books to read.
Oh, you should get into it. No
Which is
sisters,
wonderful.
though, I don't think.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah, she does it by herself.
I wanted to plug a thing I already mentioned. I wanted to plug Barry on HBO.
Oh.
After they won a bunch of Emmys, we decided to start watching it, and we're probably about halfway through. Season 1's completely out on HBO now. And, oh my god, I really like it. And it's a short, like, less than 30-minute long. It's like it's a dark comedy, I guess. But it's really funny when it's being funny, and, like, the acting is, like, phenomenal and like over the top. Henry Winkler won his first ever Emmy for his role as an acting coach in this movie.
Wow.
And he is insane, as he always is, but like I love him, and like everyone was great. Like I can't believe I didn't watch it before. Like I'm really excited to be watching it right now. It's good.
Ooh, you said where you watch it on
It's
HBO?
on HBO. It's an HBO original.
You can get it through Prime. If you do that.
Yeah,
HBO
maybe.
channel.
Yeah.
You have HBO Go?
I have HBO Go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. You guys check it out. You'll like it. All right.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, I've got a 30-minute monologue about how much I hate Rose McGowan. I've only
Excuse
given
me
you
while
a
I click
taste,
this
but
pause,
what? But I'm
but-
about to go. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So let me tell you about this one.
You done?
Do you have a home? Beauty and the Bitch.
You don't.
You look.
Bitch.
Bitch, bitch, Beauty and the Bitch.
Beauty and the Bitch.
Bitch.